Hello everyone, Shroomraver here, and today I'm excited to be bringing you my 6th game from Division 2 Season 4 of the Pokemon Premier League. Yes indeed. Now today, as you probably know, we are facing off against my very good friend Ellie, the based Ellie, the 8-bit Insomniac Ellie, the based Insomni Ellie Ack. Ellie! She's awesome, she's the coach, manager of Accrington Stantler. Her links are down in the description, you should check her out because she's very awesome and we like Ellie a lot. But yes, we don't like her in this game because she's our opponent. And we are going to have to try and get another win. We've only got one, we're 1-4, it's not looking good. We're rooted very close to the bottom of the table. Thankfully, Pete RhyQuinn is a worse player than us, you know, believe it or not. So he's you know, holding up the rest of us in last place, but we are very, very close to him. Important that we try and beat Accrington Stantler. Now, if you want to see the team that I decided to bring, you'll find Team Builder also down in the description. You'll be able to see my thought process going into this game, what I brought, what I thought Ellie would bring, all my sets in depth are in that video. But, just to very briefly go over it, we've got a bulky, very specially offensive, but kind of mixed Newcrustle. We've got physically defensive, Toxic Stall, Araquanid, we've got Choice Scarf Morwile, we've got Earth Plate Manaswine, we've got the very powerful Power Up Punch Zangoose, and we've got a bulky, speedy Chartyberry Zapdos. Now, over on Ellie's side, she has decided to bring Clefable, Roserade, Poliwrath, Tyranitar, Alakazam, and Excadrill. So, once again, a lot of things I was expecting. Wasn't quite expecting to see the Roserade, if I'm being honest. I was expecting her to bring Conkeldurr instead of that, but everything else I was pretty sure she was going to be bringing. So yeah, again, I've sort of got most of the Pokemon right, so I'm feeling slightly okay about it. My lead pretty much every time is going to be Newcrustle. So without further ado, let's get right into the battle and see exactly how things played out. Okay, so here we go. Pokemon Trainer Ellie, she's going to issue her challenge. As you know, I'm going to be leading with Newcrustle. She's going to lead with Malignant. That's going to be the Clefable. And this is a matchup I'm perfectly okay with, really. So to start things off, I'm just going to click Flash Cannon to scout her out. So here we go, Flash Cannon goes off, and as we can see, there's no Berry there. So I'm just going to go for it. We do a good, clean 40-odd%, and Ellie's going to get up her rocks turn 1, which is fine. Now here, I'm thinking she knows I've got to go for it again. This is her clean switch into Excadrill early game to get massive pressure on, or she can go into Poliwrath. So I'm going to go for a middle ground play, Earthquake. She's actually going to stay in, I guess, knowing that she can take another Flash Cannon and try and get some recovery going. So Earthquake does a little bit more, and as you can see, there's the softball, I guess to say, knowing she could take a hit. She's running the risk of Flash Cannon getting a Svidef drop, but it's okay. So here, I'm thinking, okay, now is the time she switches out. I've gone for Earthquake. It's probably the time where she might want to switch around, and I can't kill her, but she's going to stay in yet again. So Earthquake comes in. As we can see, it's going to do a sort of a decent amount. She's at about 75% here, maybe sort of 70. She's going to go for the Moonblast, and this is going to do not a huge amount. So now I'm thinking, do you know what? She's just staying in. She knows she can take any one more hit from me. Now's the time to launch that Z move. And now she decides to switch. I'm like, don't go into Poliwrath. Don't you dare go into Poliwrath. It's the goddamn Poliwrath. And I was like, I was confused. This is going to go off. This animation takes a while. A lovely little corkscrew crash there. I was confused. Now, I spoke to her after the battle, and she was like, at this point she'd worked out I was a Z-move user because I'd switched up my moves, I wasn't choiced, there was no leftovers there. I could have been Assault Vest. But she's going to take the risk of going into Poliwrath. The corkscrew crash is going to do really very little indeed. I was just annoyed. I was like, it seemed like she was just sacking off Mons left, right and centre. Because as you can see here, she's going to stay in again. I was like, she's not staying on a Psychic. I here go for Earthquake because I'm thinking this was just a pivot switch and she was going to bait the Psychic and go into Tyranitar to set the sand. That doesn't happen and she leaves in the Poliwrath. And now I'm starting to get just a little bit frazzled. I'm starting to get just a little bit annoyed because at the end of the day I am over-predicting, but I was like, she's playing really recklessly. I wasn't expecting her to just be so reckless with her Pokemon. So anyway, now she's going to bring in the Tyranitar. There's the Sandstream. I guess this time she thought the Psychic was coming, but I'm just going to go for the Morning Sun. I guess she could have predicted that too. I know it's not going to get too much back in the sand, but we've got to try and go for it. Now here I just need damage on this thing. I don't know what type of Tyrannosaur it is, I'm expecting offensive. So here she goes with the crunch, gonna land the crunch, and that is going to do big old damage. We live just about, and I am gonna go for the earthquake, and we see that she has a sugar berry. So this earthquake is gonna do precious little damage to the T-Tar. As the sugar berry, as I say, weakens it. I'm going to get buffeted by the sandstorm. I'm going to live that sandstorm damage, of course, on 4 HP. And she's going to go for rock polish, knowing that I die next turn to sand. I've gone for earthquake again here. She goes for rock polish. I'm like, this is a problem. So I'm going to go for the earthquake. It's going to do more than before, of course. It's going to do a good amount, put her quite low. But I am going to go down to the sandstorm now, and I'm sort of already panicking a little bit because I'm facing down a speedy Tyrannosaur, and here is where that panic sets in. I go into Mamoswine and I don't calc anything. I'm on autopilot. I just think Ice Shard, damage it, stop it from doing damage to me. So I'm going to go for the Ice Shard. Forgetting it's not super effective, it doesn't take it out. She's going to go for Aqua Tail, and as we're going to see, Mamoswine's going to live. So if I'd have gone for Earthquake there, we'd have been in such a good position, but now she's going to switch on out. She knows another Ice Shard is coming her way, and she can save this to sell the sand later. Ice Shard, of course, is going to do nothing to our old Papa Franco over here. And after what looked like a good start with Necrozma just seeming to have his way and kind of launch off hits left, right and centre, we have been pegged back by basically over-predicting and not calcing properly. It's my own fault, but I have an answer to this thing. That's going to be Web and Flow. In comes the debutant, and she's actually got Seismic Toss, which kind of ruins the whole plan with Araquanid to wall out this thing, which is unfortunate. It's well prepped on Ellie's part, knowing that this thing could wall out a Seismitoad fairly effectively with the right set, so she's bought something that's going to be able to do consistent damage, so that's very nice. And as you can see, she is going to outspeed me. That's all very well and good, because I'm getting leftovers back to the point where after protecting I'll be able to live another one. So I'm going to go for the Toxic right about now, just to get that Toxic damage going on the Poliwrath and hope that she doesn't have any kind of Cleric move, probably on the Clefable. So we've got a Toxic on the Poliwrath. This is very nice, and as you can see after leftovers I am going to be able to live another Seismic Toss. But to be honest, it's probably within my best interest to just go for Protect here, which is exactly what I'm going to do, just to stall out the Toxic a little bit more. She's of course going to go once again for that Seismic Toss. From there, she obviously can't see my HP. She might have thought that it would take me out, because I'm at what, 52, 54, something like that. We'll see in a little bit. It's 52, so she might have thought it would take me out from there. But at this point I can live another hit from this Poliwrath. Whether I want to or not is a different kettle of fish. Now, as it is, I don't want to take that hit. I am going to switch out and go into my Zapdos right about now, because I can't touch the Poliwrath with my offensive moves on Araquanid. So I'm just going to go into my Zapdos, knowing that the Seismic Toss is going to be coming my way, and knowing that Zapdos can then threaten out this Poliwrath. So she gets the leftovers back. Now, seeing that I don't have an item leftovers, she might think that I'm an offensive Zapdos here, and she doesn't really want Poliwrath to stay in right about now. But I also think she's not going to want to take the risk of going to Excadrill, because I have shown a tendency to overpredict here. The Clefable is her best middle ground play, but I am just going to go for the Roost, which is absolutely fine. Zapdos back up to good health where it needs to be. At this point I could take the option to go for the Defog. It would allow her to get sort of a hit off on me if needs be, or maybe even a Toxic status. So what I'm actually going to do is just go for the Volt Switch, not take the opportunity to defog just yet. Hope I can do it a bit later. And I'm going to go into my Mawile directly, because I'm not going to take too much damage if she's just going for a Moonblast, and if she Toxics, I won't be affected. The Moonblast is what she goes for. Now she sees no Intimidate, and she sees that probably does more damage than she was expecting. So it's quite clear that I am going to be an offensive variant. Now, I wanted to go for the Brick Break here, predicting Excadrill, but I didn't know her last move. It could have been Fire Blast, Flamethrower, something like that. I couldn't take the risk. I had to go for the Iron Head, and it is in fact going to be the Excadrill, but I get some very useful information. Air Balloon, not Scarfed. Very interesting. So I'm going to go for the Iron Head, break that Air Balloon, which is very nice indeed. And we're starting to see exactly how many things Zangoose can outspeed. But I don't want to take an Earthquake. I am in fact here just going to go into Weather and Flow Arachnid. Just sack it off. It's not really doing anything more this game. So the Arachnid experiment hasn't really worked early on, which is unfortunate. The crit obviously doesn't matter there. She went for a Rock Slide in case I went into Zapdos. But right now I know that Zangoose can outspeed. So I'm going to go directly into Zangoose, and now basically Ellie does have to pick a fodder because Zangoose is going to pick up a kill here. There's nothing she can do about that. And she is going to opt to sack off the Poliwrath. It is her best play. Poliwrath has pretty much done all it needs to do this game by wearing things down, especially the Arachnid, who is now gone. So I'm going to go for the close combat. It's obviously not going to kill the Poliwrath, but seeing that this is probably a bulky set, if it has Vacuum Wave even at -1, I will live it. And it's potential that it doesn't even have the Vacuum Wave at all. So what I'm going to do here is just go for the Facade. She doesn't have the Vacuum Wave, or she doesn't click it, and from there Facade is going to take out the Poliwrath, and Zangoose is going to pick up our first kill of the game, which is very nice. But while I have that revenge killer, she has a faster one, because now in comes the Zam, and I'm like, okay, I need damage on this thing before Zangoose can quick attack it. It could very well be sashed. So, gonna get on out of there, and at this point I am going to have to choose to sack off Spaceman. It's very unfortunate that I had to do this, but I didn't see another chance. I couldn't bring in Zapdos because she had 2-hit KO, so I might as well have just gone into it, and I thought I needed everything else more. What I can do now, though, is go into Zapdos. I can take any hit from this guy, I'm absolutely certain of that. And again, this is my opportunity to defog, but I don't want to provide her a free switch into the Extra Drill later. So actually, she's going to go into the Clefable, and what I'm going to do is just go for the Volt Switch. And this is very nice, because, once again, I'm going to be able to go straight the hell on back into Zangoose, and the Goose truly is loose at this point. Every time I bring it in, as I say, something is dying. There's really nothing Ellie can do about it. I just bring it in on a slower thing, and it picks up a kill. It's being worn down by Toxic, of course, but it's not really taking too many hits anyway, so at this point, Ellie is going to choose the Clefable to be the one to go down. So Zangoose is going to launch off that Facade, take out the Clefable, and that is a second kill of the game and a 5th of the season for my man Zangoose, currently sitting in that MVP spot, already picking up the 5-kill challenge that Shardy set at the beginning of the season. But now in comes the Zam, and I'm running out of things to switch in here. I have to go into Zapdos. I realise that Zapdos can take a hit, probably, depending on this thing's item. And as you'll see here, the Psychic is going to come in, and that is going to not take out my Zapdos, but it will on the subsequent turn. So I could have lived a hit if I'd have gone into, say, Morwhile, but Morwhile I felt was very important. I need the Scarf Morwhile and I need the Zangoose, and it's these two against the world right now. So, gonna go into Sadie once again, and basically just lock in on Ironhead at this point, because nothing particularly wants to take it. Unfortunately, that T-Tar is still alive, and I was rather hoping it wouldn't be at this point. If I'd gone for Earthquake earlier with Mamoswine, it wouldn't be. But she is going to be able to go into it, and, you know, it's going to die. This is a sack job, because obviously Morwhile will pick up the kill. What that does mean, though, of course, is that Excadrill is going to be able to come in here. And I may be Scarf, but she's got Sand Rush, and that Earthquake is going to come in. It's obviously going to take out my Morwhile from there. Nothing I can do about that, unfortunately. And it means that all I have left is my Zangoose, the threat, who came close. This time it was a nice effort. I'm not even going to bother going for the quick attack at this point. I do have it, but I'm not going to sort of sully the waters by even trying. My only chance would be for her to do something silly and not go for Earthquake. Switch out. I went for close combat there. It's the only real move. But Zangoose goes down, and that is going to be the game. So yeah, that was an unfortunate one. Where can we draw some positives from this? Well, Morwhile, whilst it didn't get to really abuse the fact that it was Scarfed, it did pick up a kill, which is nice. That's Morwhile's 5th kill of the season. And Zangoose as well, showing exactly why I got it. 4 mil, that was an absolute bargain pick. 5 kills from 3 games, it's a consummate threat. And I don't know if you understand how close I actually was to winning that game. There was one really, really stupid play that I made that I think actually cost me, which was not going for Earthquake with Mamoswine on Tyranitar. And it was my own fault. I can own that. I should have calced it. If I'd have been running calcs, like I'd seen that the Tyranitar was Sugar Berry. That Sugar Berry was broken. So it wasn't Life Orb, that's for damn sure. If I'd have calced the damage that it could do to me, I'd have seen that it couldn't kill Mamoswine. At that point, if I'd have gone for Earthquake and taken out the Tyranitar, all I'd have to do was stall out enough turns of sand to the point where Excadrill didn't have sand anymore. And I had a few mons to do it. All I needed in the end game actually was the 2 mons I had left, which was Mawile and Zangoose. Because out of everything else, the only thing that actually outsped Zangoose was Alakazam. And all I needed on Alakazam was just one hit. Just one hit. It turns out the Alakazam wasn't sashed. It was actually a weird trick, like Sticky Barb set, I think, or something ridiculous like that. Something that like only Ellie would think up, and I absolutely take my hat off to her for that, because it's brilliant. It was a way to try and wear down like Necrozma, I think. But I'm getting off topic here. Like, the thing she had left at the point where I could have taken them on if Tyranitar went down, like Excadrill, as we saw, was Air Balloon. It wasn't Scarfed. Without the sand, Zangoose outspeeds and kills. The Roserade, as it turns out, was like timid base with 176 speed investment, because it was Z. It was the Fairium Z with Dazzling Gleam. So Zangoose would have outsped that and killed. Clefable was left, I think, at that point when T-Tar took out Mamoswine. That, as you saw, was taken out and killed, and then it was just Alakazam, and all I needed was a little bit of chip damage from Mawile, who could probably have taken any one hit from it, and then Zangoose kills with Quick Attack. So there was one very, very silly thing that I did. It wasn't even so much a misplay as just a very, very silly thing, and that's what really can teach me now, and teach everyone, hopefully. Run your calcs at every opportunity. Even if you think you don't have a chance of living a hit, run your calcs, you might well do, and it could save you. The early over-predictions on my part, whether they were over-predictions or Ellie being really reckless early on, you know, I can't get too mad. Plays worked out for her. She was able to scatter my Necrozma set. If that's what she was doing, fair enough, can't argue with that. Those over-predictions didn't cost me per se. They annoyed me at the start. I was more annoyed at myself. I felt annoyed at Ellie, but I wasn't really annoyed at Ellie. I can see now, I was just annoyed at myself for over-predicting. Ellie wasn't really doing anything wrong. So, yeah, it's pretty much on me, this one. But it was the Mamoswine play that really cost me. And then it would have come down to whether I could take out the Zam in time. But yeah, that's unfortunately is going to be that. We slipped to 1-5. Promotion is just a distant memory of something that could have been once. We're not getting promoted with 5 losses. That's not happening. We need to win out now to even have a positive goddamn differential. So, God only knows what's going to happen from here on in. But next week is going to be a very interesting one. Next week, if Shardy is our main rival in competitive Pokemon, and he probably is, then Alex, OnesieBanette, my next opponent, is very much second on that list. We're very similar players, we're very good friends, we've had very similar journeys season by season, and our battles are consistently some of the best of the season, whichever way they go. So it's going to be a very interesting one next week as we take on OnesieBanette and Birmingham Spritzee, but that is a story for another time. For now, links down in the description to Ellie. Do please make sure you check her out. She is just a lovely person and I love her to pieces. She's fantastic. Check out her content and everything else, and yes, do it. But we slipped to 1-5. Can we rescue anything from this season? Can we salvage dignity at the very least? Find out next time on PPL Season 2 Division 4. No, Season 4 Division 2. I'd deserve to be in Division 4 for that. I'm rambling on. I've rambled on for far too long, so I'm going to get out of here. My final thank you to you all for watching. And I guess with that, I will see you next time. Laters.